We're back and we are here today with Rabbi Howshua Amariel. I'm just used to calling him Howshua. Okay, but he wears many hats. Okay, and when I say many hats, I do mean many hats. Okay, before we get into the topic, tell us a little bit about the other hats that you wear.
Well, I have a document here sitting in front of me where you can see it says the Limba Association. Mm-hmm. This is an agreement that I made with the Limba in reference to them being brought to the children of Israel, being brought to Israel, how this agreement says that when they come to Israel, that they will bring those people that are considered to be Americans, Jews or Hebrews, that they would also recommend to the state of Israel that they bring them along with them. So in Africa, I have the title, and in America, I also have the title as a chief. So there's a chief Howshua, and also I'm an imam, and also I'm a minister.
Okay.
So I have many different titles.
What is the exact definition of an imam for those
This
that
is
don't
just
know? I don't know
the
myself.
Nation of Islam. My family was a member of the Nation of Islam.
Okay.
You see, and I was blessed by the Prophet Elijah Muhammad through my family, and from there I became an imam.
Oh my!
What happened though is that also I'm also considered to be a licensed minister. So, so what's happening? But among the Israelite Organization of Unity, this is the documentation that I have here. When I first came here to Israel, I gave this letter to Ben-Ami. This is the letter of introduction, and this was my power. This is the seal here from the rabbis that gave me the power and authority to be the representative of the board of rabbis here in Israel. So when I first came here, I informed Ben-Ami that I would be the official representative of the nation of the children of Israel. So they can see your face, okay. Of the nation of the children of Israel. And also, I gave Ben-Ami a copy of this, and I showed him this, that on this date that I actually took that position. So now, as the rabbi that would be representing the board of rabbis and the Hebrew people within the land of Israel. Prior to me coming to Israel, Ben-Ami did have that title, did have the right and the authority to represent our people, because we were the first blacks within the land of Israel, and he was the first leadership, and among the brothers, they were the first leadership that was established within the land. But after many of the people came back in 1986, 87, and started seeing that the reports that came back that Ben-Ami was abusing the various different brothers and sisters and claiming themselves as Mashiachs. Many of the rabbis then started to try to draw back their support for the community, because they saw the prophecy being fulfilled that Rabbi Reuben indicated when you named him Amin, that he eventually would be the false Mashiach. So what's happening at this time? So everything that's happened up until from the 1960s up until the 1980s, which is when I stepped in, and I came in to the land of Israel, and this is when I first came to Israel, and my whole purpose was to try to help the community, try to help those brothers get out of prison that was in prison. You can look on the videos, YouTube again, and you can see my interview with Absalom. He was one of the brothers that was incarcerated. So and how we did here today another 20 years, and exactly where the community is today.
Okay, well, let me just interject something here. Okay, Rabbi, I would just like for you to say, for the record, what has the response been? Have you been welcomed with open arms as someone that your family has been entrenched in this and has a legacy in this and has had part in this and supported the Hebrews worldwide? Have you received any type of support in being here? Because from my point of view, what it looks like to me is you've been totally ostracized. Very few people understand what your purpose, your mission is here, or even understand, as I said, what actually took place in the beginning. So that's sort of shrouded in mystery. So what has happened since the time you have been here? Has the community embraced you in any way?
Well, the thing is that, like I said, when I came here, I gave Benjamin and the various leadership this paperwork, but at the same time, also within America, certain things that was going on within America that the community did not take part in. This is a document that says establishing of a Torah-based nation. Within the year 2000, which within the time period that I came up here, you had took a transition. They took a transition and became a Torah-based nation. What happened at that point is that the community in the Demona did not sign when all of the what was called the U Nation. But first, let me go back, because I have to go back before I can even answer that question. See, what happened was when I came here within 1987, 86, 87, this was a period of time which was called the Great Siege, that the people were arrested. I was the individual, very few people know this, but you can go to YouTube and see it. I was the individual that went from New York to California, gathering support together for the community. See, what happened at that time, a lot of people had came back and they were screaming bloody murder of what was going on here within Israel, in the community. At the same time, you had the news, the press, and you had the Israeli government, you had everybody ready to deport out people. So the question is, so everybody met together and they was trying to figure out what to do. We disagreed with the fact that what was going on with Benjamin in this era of him being the Mashiach and what was happening with the people. And you can see the video with the sister Bathsheba that when she came and she spoke out and what happened to her and her family. That's also on YouTube.
Now that's the video with the sister that is speaking. I think it's entitled "The Rod of Iron."
Exactly, ruling with the rod of iron.
So you can go there as a part of history and you can look at that on YouTube. That was very informative. But please go on.
Well, that video was 20 years ago, you see. And a lot of the other videos shows that I got it and I was able to pull a lot of the various police across the nation together in order to support our brother in Demona. Most people don't even know about that here. They have no idea that what happened at that time was that you had a call that took place from Elkanah, and you can see the video up on YouTube, and he was asking for the community to come and support the community in Israel, and nobody stood forth. I was the individual that stood forth, and I took his video to the rabbis. When the rabbis saw the video, they had informed that they was already aware from their Jewish brothers what had already taken place in Israel, but they hadn't responded yet. So what happened was, when I brought the videos to a meeting took place, and it was decided to support the community because they were our only community that was here within the land of Israel. But more importantly, because the time of the prophecy hadn't been fulfilled. It was supposed to have been 40 years, and the Most High was supposed to be testing our people in the wilderness of Demona. And Demona is also before the same place, before the Mount Edom, is the same place where our people dwelled in when they came out of the land of Egypt, to be purified there. So what happened is that, but when our people came back from the land of Egypt, and they lived within the land of Israel, when God said he would bring us into the wilderness again, what got us cast out of the land was that we refused to accept the Torah. You see. So when the brothers in Demona in the year 2000 would not sign up as a Torah-based nation, then they had started to fulfill the prophecies of the false Mashiach.
Okay, that's very interesting. But don't forget the question of how were you personally received?
Well, if you let me continue, what was happening is that when they didn't sign this document, then that's when I came with this document here, which I mentioned several times, and I went to the people in Demona and the leadership in Demona, and they received me very well. You follow me? They received me well. I met with the Minister of Information, Eliashu, and he was the individual. You can see a picture of me on the internet. where they continue, where he was made a liaison to continue to talk to me, and I would give him information on various different things that I was doing within the land of Israel. So what happened was, and you will see a video on YouTube of me begging the community to turn to the Torah. You see,
yes.
I'm constantly asking the community, and this is where the energy. This is what I have been doing here. I've been trying to set the community back on track, because what had happened here is that Benjamin has made the statement that the Bible that we all read in English and in Hebrew that he's the only one that really understood it. You see. So what we did was that then we brought the ancient Hebrew. We introduced the ancient Hebrew Torah. You follow me? Indicating that the Torah has been translated, and that now, according to the scripture, we are supposed to be the teachers of the Torah. So
okay. Now I know when I was a part of the community, there was a huge effort to put together a black Bible.
Right, exactly.
And I remember they had different illustrations of Moses and different pioneers from the Bible being portrayed as black. Okay, look, it's a wonderful thing, a positive thing. However, it's very interesting that that was done almost in conjunction with what you were doing in deciphering the ancient Hebrew. You are known worldwide as the only person, am I correct?
Yes, continue.
To be able to read the ancient Hebrew text and decipher it. And I want you to talk a little bit about how that relates all the way back to our heritage as not African Americans, but the original people of America. Okay, I'm not explaining it correctly. I'll leave that to you.
Well, like I said, once the community did not respond to the Torah-based nation that all the various different other rabbis and leaders in America had signed, then what was happening, we had agreed that we would establish, that we would put forth the ancient Hebrew Torah. Okay. So what happened is that according to the scripture, the ancient Hebrew language must come from Zion, from Jerusalem. Mm-hmm. So what happened was that so when we came up to the community, we informed them that we begged them to accept the Torah and to start teaching the ancient Hebrew. And of course, they said, well, no, that they wasn't going to help us, as you pointed out, in teaching the ancient Hebrew. So this is a newsletter here. So we put forth this. Could you read? I want you to read that if you can.
Oh, I couldn't read it.
Okay, well here it says, learn and read the Torah in ancient Hebrew from the watchmen at Tel Aviv. You follow me? So we started teaching our people ancient Hebrew Torah, and we started calling the various different brothers out to come and to be able to learn the ancient Hebrew Torah from us. Mm-hmm. So what happened from that, we still didn't get any response from the community and from to support with ancient Hebrew. Then a lot of the Jewish people started coming out to try to learn the ancient Hebrew from us. You see, so this is how that came out. But as you said, to answer your question, what has been happening here is that we have continued to go down to the community because it's one fact that we have been looking out, that we have been saying. See, the whole world has made the statement, and I think one of your shows you made the statement that we are a cult. Mm-hmm. You see. And I think you had this on one of your shows with Brother Yeshaya.
Yes,
you see. True. And Yeshaya, I may add, he was one of the brothers that helped us here when we was teaching the language to the Sudanese, the Jews from Sudan. He was one of the language teachers that was working with us in the synod that we had here.
Yes.
You see, so I commend that brother. He's a wonderful brother. Mm-hmm. In the area of whether or not the community is a cult or not, this was one of the issues that we fought with back in the 1980s when the community was under siege, because that was splashed across the newspapers, you see. And the whole reason why we stood up and made the statement that we are not a cult was because when Adolf Hitler stood up and took Nazi Germany, you see, when Russia was established, you understand what I'm saying, and when Italy, Mussolini came into Italy, then all these dictators that stood up among the nation and did the same things that you were bringing up what a cult is, you see. But the difference is that it was a religion. See, a cult, that term usually follow a religion, you see, not a nation of people. So what was happening, so this is the thing that back in the 1980s, while we were able to fight all of the people, all of the enemies of our people, that was trying to group the whole nation of Israel as a cult, you see, because of what was happening here in Dimona, we gave them examples of dictators. So what we just said, we just have another dictator that's here in Dimona, you see. So as time went on, he has proven that he was a dictator then, because this is why we made the statement, Benjamin rules with a rod of iron. Yes. You see, so this was 20 years ago, you see. So now, as treat and bear fruit, after the 40 years, after the 40 years are up, because this was the amount of time that God gave our people to be tested. And I want to say something to you, and I want to say something to our people. And we have failed the test. God said that I will give you 1 week. It was 1 week was left for our people in the book of Daniel. And God said, I will give you 1 week to put an end to sin, to make reconciliation for iniquity, to anoint the most holy. Well, of course, you know it being meaning the most holy. You see. But the most holy that was supposed to be anointed is God. God is the most holy. God is our king. See, what the mistake that we done and what we did before was that we was put, the test that we went through in Dimona was our people was supposed to come back after 400 years of slavery because we put a man in the place of God. And this is again the statement that see, one of the things that Benjamin did and what he was able to do, and what all of the rabbis said and everybody else said, but our brothers here in Israel, was that Benjamin continued to use the first scripture, "Oh, no, ye are gods," you see. And he used this scripture to the point where the people themselves became a god and didn't look unto the hills, unto the God from which comes our help. So they became of God, and in this, they rejected the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the cloud that was over our head that we looked up and saw outside of ourselves. They rejected this God for their self-God. And Benjamin became this self-God, this idol that our people put in the place of God, and they became demigods. So what happened in the gist of all of this is that when our people came, when the people was in Dimona, they rejected the Torah, they rejected God, they rejected, and then again, we called our people here to Mount Zion. The brothers said, all was well, and this is a very beautiful fact. When our people first came back to the land of Israel, they were brought right here to Arab. After 20 years research looking for the actual Mount Zion, because our people were saying that the actual Mount Zion wasn't Mount Zion. We found that the actual Mount Zion was right here at Tel Aviv. So God had brought our people back after 400 years of slavery. There was two groups. There was one group the first group was brought right here, which Prince Keskiahu was a part of that group. And the second group was brought to Dimona, which Benjamin was a part of that group. So now we had a separation then between the people that would choose, and Prince Keskiahu, among all the people, as you indicated, have I been getting any support? Prince Keskiahu was the one that has been giving me support. He's been telling everybody in here about the house of Jah, about the house of Jehovah, about the house of Yahweh that's at Tel Aviv, the true Mount Zion. He's been bringing people out there, and a number of different other people here has believed him and has been bringing other people out to the true Mount Zion. But now we have, as we've been asking for the various different brothers to come up now and choose the land. Because now the children of Israel now has been stabilized here in the land of Israel and have been given some type of status, the land issue now has came up. So now we've been asking the community to step up now and choose the land before what is called the House of Jah Tel Aviv.
Okay. Now, you said a lot.
Yeah, I said a mouthful.
And, and that's all good because we welcome anyone and everyone to come and to speak in regards to what's happening here, to give us a better understanding of what took place and what's happening, and even to speak on what is being done to help, excuse me, to help those that are in and a part of the community and even living here in Israel, but no longer an official member of the community. So you've said a lot. So much that we would practically need another show just to go into some of the specifics of what you've stated here. I know I personally have went out to Tel Aviv, and you've established a very keen interest among the Israelis. They have started to come out to Tel Aviv. The Sudanese have started to come out to Tel Aviv. Nasi Keskiyahu has begun to bring people out to Tel Aviv and to see what's actually, that is part of history. You've done a lot of research. You are you are an official, you're in the Guinness Book of World Records or something like that, right?
Exactly. I'm the first person to translate to ancient Hebrew, but also they did a National Geographic interview on me talking about the research that we did at Tel Aviv. And as they point out, this is the land agreement now that we're looking for land. We're trying to acquire land for the people. And I took this to Zah Eliashu some years ago, trying to ask them it's time to open the land and start trying to give the people land. Come up into the mountains, come out of the wilderness, come into the mountains where the fig trees are at. And they said, well, brother, we're waiting for the Jubilee year. We're waiting for the 40th year to be up. Now the 40th year is up. You follow? And from what I heard, they're still talking about keeping the community down in Dimona, you see, and not allowing the people to be able to have their own houses, every man have his own fig tree. So what's going on here now is right on time. You follow me? So it's time for the people in the community to now to say, what do we get out of 40 years? You see, do we really want something? And if you want something, you have to stand up and say, first thing you have to say is that we came to the land of Israel to worship God. We didn't come to the land of Israel to worship man. You have to turn to God. You have to turn to the law of God. And then once you do those things, all the other doors will be open.
Okay. Now, is it not true, Brother Howshua, Rabbi, that you yourself have acquired land?
Well, see, this is the point. You see, you got to try to show people. See, talk don't mean nothing. You got to do, the proof is in the pudding. Where I come from, proof is in the pudding. You follow me? Right. So right now, they just did their appraisal on my place. They said it was $4 million. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And the scripture said, you shall inherit houses. You shall inherit fields that you didn't plant. I got fields I didn't plant. You can look at that on YouTube. You have houses that you didn't build. You follow me? So God opened up the door for me after we said a prayer at Tel Aviv.
Howshua has beautiful land. He's growing cherries out there. He's got animals out there. You got donkeys and everything.
Exactly. And we're trying to call the brothers up because, see, understand what's happening here. When you go to the book of when you go to the book of Yoel, you will see at the 5th chapter there where it says the Palestinians were the ones that sold us off of the mountains of Israel into the hands of the Grecians, it says in English, to remove us from the land. So all the area now that's being called the West Bank, which the Palestinians have claimed, you know what I'm saying? Which that's the area that we're supposed to be moving into. So this is a political thing now because all the nations now have just recognized or started to try to recognize the Palestinians as a state. So now all this is prophetic because the scripture talks about how when these things occur that the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob will move to allow us to acquire the land. And as I was saying it before, it's because we have rejected the Torah The Assyrian people now has been called, according to the scriptures, is 3 people now that God moved into our place. He moved the Egyptians, which the Sudanese, as you pointed out. These were people that was led by a vision. God gave the chief a vision that led him here, that told him that in the spirit, he said, came to him. He said, when he saw me, this was the spirit that came to him in my likeness. He said, Abraham came to him in the vision. And he said, the spirit that came to him in the vision looked just like me. So when he saw me, he said to me, I saw you in the vision. Who are you? I said, well, I'm telling people about the house of Jah. He tell them why. He said, the spirit told me to come to Zion. He said, I thought Zion was up there. Zion. I said, no, Zion's right here. So at that point, hundreds of Sudanese start to come, and that's why the main branch of the Sudanese was here in Iraq. A lot of people don't understand that. And they was going out to Tel Aviv to pray. And because of that, God made them, they became the people of God. See, when our people was in Egypt, God said, I will put a difference between you, the Egyptians, and you. You see. And then when God said, let my people go, they became the people of God. But now, because we rejected God and the house of God, the ancient Egyptians have reclaimed their title of the people of God. And we have lost that because we failed the 40-year test, because we chose Ben-Ami over man. And also now, we have our Jewish brothers here, as you pointed out, the Jewish people here, which were people from Asher. When you read the 1947 newspaper, when they first came in, it said, our father, the Assyrians. You see? So Ben Gurion announced that he, and this article is up on the newspaper, that they were the Assyrian descent, which is Ashur. God called these people the works of my hand. And because they have went and they have taken hold of the Torah, they're the ones that's been running around here sharing the ancient Torah, where our people have rejected it. You see, these people have been given the title now and the fulfillment of prophecy as the work of God's hand. Now all we have, the only thing that we have now, because Ben-Ami and our brothers here, because the people that came here within the 40 years was the best of 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 our people. And when they came here, and they allowed a man to bring them to the point where they reject the laws of God, and then they allowed a man to turn them away from the true Mount Zion, saying, when I went to the morning and told them, they said, yeah, we know that's Mount Zion, but we don't need Mount Zion. We have Ben-Ami. You see. So they put Ben-Ami greater than Zion, greater than God, you see. So at this point, they have failed, our community failed the test. But it's one thing, so what's left for us, according to the prophecy, what's left to us is the inheritance of the land. So now we will be put in a position where so now I'm calling our people to come up into the mountain to inherit the land. We have to challenge the nations and the Palestinians' right to the West Bank. I have a peace proposal that I put up and I introduced at the race conference in 2000 in South Africa on the behalf of peace in the land of Israel.
Now, for any of you that are interested in that proposal and all the other many things that the Rabbi Howshua Amariel has done and is continuing to do on behalf of his people, you can go to YouTube, and he has literally dozens, if not hundreds.
They say a picture's 1,000 words.
That's right.
So we have all of these videos up to prove everything that I'm saying right now. Our people were the first blacks to return to the land of Israel. We were the first Hebrew Israelites here. When you look at the Ethiopian Jews, they have houses, cars, jobs, a lot of things to show, while our people have been roaming around in the wilderness for 40 years with nothing to show. So now at this point, I'm saying to them, when will you continue to give praises unto a man? On my videos, I have a lot of people from my brothers to say, you brother have to realize that Ben-Ami is the king. I respect Elder Ben-Ami as an elder, and as you saw, I know that he had the vision. I believe his vision. But he did not have the right to proclaim himself the Mashiach. He did not have the right to stop the people from coming to Mount Zion. He did not have the right to accept your tithes. 10% tithes belong to God, not to the man. And he refused to allow the people to bring tithes to the house of God.
Okay. Okay. Now we're going to end here. You have the information. Anyone with a opposing view is welcome to air and on this particular platform as well, because we welcome dialogue. We don't believe in trying to shut off anyone from giving their opinion. Now, there's so much more that we could discuss, and I'd like to invite you back for another time to discuss other things, in particular the connection between the African Hebrew Israelites and the American Indians. That is something that I believe that the people should really be aware of, amongst a lot of other things. But we will end here now, and on the note of 40 years, what does that 40 years mean to you?